Apple's been building more and more of their products for filmmaking. Macs are being used to edit shows like Severance, iPads are showing up more to manage productions, and iPhones, they're shooting everything from music videos to feature films, most notably being used for the recent 28 Years Later. But why? How can a consumer-grade product compare to the technology we see used in Hollywood? As someone that has worked both in the film industry and at Apple, I wanted to get a better understanding of why iPhones are making their way into the film world. To get the full picture, I've broken this down into 3 main questions to unpack the benefits they bring to productions and what role they'll play in the future of filmmaking. But most importantly, I want to share how iPhones being used in the film industry will actually positively impact the audience in the long term. Knowing 28 Years Later was shot on iPhone, the first question that came to mind was what are the benefits of using them on a feature film? At first, it would seem that it would limit filmmakers more than it would help them, right? Well, it's starting to become quite the opposite. The main benefit is accessibility. iPhones are lightweight, easy to use, and have gotten surprisingly durable. For a film like 28 Years Later that's trying to capture an environment that hasn't been touched in years, bringing in a large crew with a lot of equipment would break that immersion. That's why the director, Danny Boyle, specifically leaned into the iPhones where possible, allowing them to work quickly with a lighter footprint. The second benefit is flexibility. Because of their size, iPhones can be placed almost anywhere with less setup than a traditional rig. This helps pull off more complex shots while minimizing time and resources. A great example is this custom rig of 20 iPhones designed to achieve a spin on the bullet time effect. It let the filmmakers dramatically push the audience into the action in these remote locations rather than having to recreate it on a set. The size of the cameras have helped other recent films like F1, as Apple re-engineered iPhone cameras for POV shots in the cars. This created an immersive perspective that traditional cameras wouldn't be able to capture. Both films use different techniques, but with the same goal of bringing the audience closer to the experience. Which leads us to our final benefit, creativity. Whether it's music videos, shorts, or feature films, there's quite an appeal to use these smaller devices to capture raw, intimate looks, or to pull different emotions from scenes. It can also be a stylistic choice, or a cool creative challenge to tell a story with a tool that isn't the standard. When you put all of these benefits together, iPhones are helping save time and money, while also empowering filmmakers to push themselves creatively. But even with all of these benefits, it's worth asking, what's the difference in quality? While older projects shot on iPhone definitely show their age, the technology has heavily evolved with professionals in mind. For example, let's take a look at the specs of the iPhone 17 Pro. It can shoot 4K at 120 frames per second in Dolby Vision, and even has the power and storage to capture in their ProRes RAW format. They also continue to utilize features like action mode and voice isolation, which make a huge difference in stabilization and audio quality. But even with those specs, there are still places where iPhones fall short. They have much smaller sensors, which make them weaker in low light and give them a less natural depth of field. And while newer models have multiple lenses built in, the quality isn't always consistent, and they still lack the flexibility of true interchangeable lenses. Regardless, having a device that can shoot such high quality in your pocket for around $1,000 is pretty impressive. So clearly the technology is advanced and has unique benefits for filmmakers, but are they the future? Or is this just creative Apple marketing? As the technology has improved, Apple has moved beyond simply saying something was shot on iPhone and now gives us detailed looks behind the productions. Sure, marketing can be exaggerated, but having a look behind the scenes also proves these devices have a real seat at the table and can hold their own. So with this in mind, where do iPhones fit into the future of filmmaking, and how does that benefit audiences? Instead of replacing the industry standard, iPhones will instead be an addition to the toolboxes of both new and existing filmmakers. And that's why I believe the audience will really benefit, because they offer empowerment. Making movies is hard, and there are a lot of ideas that never see the light of day. But with better accessibility to the tools, filmmakers can overcome a lot of barriers and focus more on telling the story that's important to them. For new filmmakers, it gives them a camera strong enough to tell a story without the barriers of budget or access. For established filmmakers, it offers a flexible camera to add to their lineup without sacrificing quality or features. Either way, the audience wins because we get to experience more creative, personal, and unique stories. At the end of the day, it's not about the technical details, it's about how the film impacts the viewer.